As we approach the end of the year, the Royals' festivities are also well underway. From the King's annual Christmas lunch at Buckingham Palace to the Princess of Wales stepping back into the spotlight, hosting her fourth Carols concert.
Well, with major health battles and ongoing family feuds, the past year has been anything but a walk in the park for the palace. So, how will the Windsors be spending the holiday season? And what's on the cards for 2025?
All fabulous questions, Gemma. And for more, we welcome royal commentator Angela Mollard.
Hi,
hey, Ange, we haven't seen you for a while. Welcome back. We heard in the news that the King's Christmas message being delivered from a hospital chapel this year. What do we make of that move?
This is really quite astounding because they've always been done from the castles, either Windsor Castle or Buckingham Palace. The fact that it's Fitzrovia Chapel, which is in the Middlesex Hospital, of course signals what this year has meant to the King. It's all about healthcare, it's all about the health professionals, and to have it in this chapel, which is basically a lot of the things in the chapel have been funded by the healthcare professional. Interestingly, also, this is where Princess Diana opened the first AIDS ward back in 1983.
In that hospital?
In that hospital. Okay. So really significant.
Now, King Charles hosted his very famous long lunch last week. We do love a bit of gossip. Who made the cut? Who was on the guest list?
So this is for the 70 members of the close family, the ones that don't go to Sandringham. Some of them do, some of them don't. But this is what he does every year. But yeah, William and Kate were not there, which was significant. They've been there every year, but they've headed up to Norfolk where they're spending time with their family. But obviously the big one that wasn't there was Prince Andrew this year. Now, of course, we know there's a disgrace around his suspected association with a Chinese spy meant he wouldn't be there. Apparently it was Fergie that stepped in and said, no, mate, you're not going to this. You can't go this year.
Right?
His daughters, though, were both, of course, there representing the family.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Andrew's daughter, Princess Beatrice, will be spending a Christmas with the royal family. So
yeah, now this is super interesting because Beatrice and Eugenie were both going to be spending Christmases with their in-laws, which virtually never happens. They have to go to the Christmas with the royal family. So they were going to go off with their in-laws. What's happened now? Beatrice is late in her pregnancy. Her in-laws live in Italy. She can't fly this late in her pregnancy. So she had the choice. Was she going to go with Fergie and Andrew, or was she going to Sandringham and spending it with the rest of the royal family? She's gone with the latter option. So that says a lot about where she's chosen to sort of tilt her interests. I think she probably didn't want the scandal at this stage of spending Christmas with her.
Well, also
the
catering would be better.
It's not a bad option. I probably would as well.
I know, bacon and an egg rolls down at Royal Lodge. That's all they can afford.
They're great with pregnancy.
Exactly.
Not very compatible. Let's talk about the Princess of Wales. We've seen the sneak peeks of her carol service looking absolutely gorgeous, but a big year for her health, obviously, in a very different place back in January, so nearly a year ago.
That's right.
What does 2025 hold for? Do we expect her role to change? Because it was very public-facing before.
It was very public-facing. I think it'll be a slowed-down agenda for her. She did 11 engagements this year, which, when you think about what she's done previously, is very, very low. Of course, she was going through treatment at that time. This carol service, of course, she will give the message. And what she says in this message is that, yes, Christmas is about tinsel and it's about presents, but it's really about spending time together. And when she means that, she says slow time, so she's talking about spending really slow time with her family, which of course we saw in that video when she finished treatment. I think we'll see a lot less of her next year. Prince William, I expect we see a bit more of him, but I don't think we'll be seeing him quite at the rate that we saw him before. This is very much about them spending time with their family and also, of course, creating this relationship with their children so that they will always turn into each other rather than turn outwards, which is, of course, what's happened with William and Harry. They really want to make sure that they have a very intact family, particularly as George will be 12 next year, reaching those tween years. It's about creating that close relationship with his siblings.
One of the very big questions around Prince William for 2025 is, will he shave? I think that's like that. A lot of people.
I like it. Don't you guys like it?
I'm going for it, right?
I know. At first I thought, oh, it's a bit Harry adjacent, but now I'm loving it.
Harry adjacent. All right. Princess of Wales was back in her full force with the Carols concert. That's going to be broadcast tonight. So that's in the UK.
Christmas Eve in the UK.
Yeah,
that's right.
Very special event, right?
Now, you mentioned Harry. Let's talk about Harry adjacent, rather. But Harry, they've sent out a Christmas card this year.
Yeah, I'm not loving this, Gemma. It was like a PR code. It's like what a model company sends out when they're trying to get business for their model. Look, there's them in Colombia. them in Nigeria, and that very paparazzi-looking shot of them with their children. There's been a lot of comparison with their card with the Wales's card, which is, of course, their family looking outward to people. This is seen very much as the Sussexes wanting us to look at them and look at what they're doing.
Imagine that.
I know. Really, how strange is that? That's not their brand at all. I know. I don't love the card. It just feels like, as I say, a branding exercise rather than a real message to other people. But apparently they did send a different one to their close family and contacts. Funnily, that hasn't leaked, despite all the other cards leaking.
Right. Now, January the 8th marks the 5th anniversary of Megxit and 5 years of fabulous content for morning shows around the world. But how do we measure it? Has it been successful?
Yeah, look, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I remember when we were reporting on this and I was in here and we were talking about it, and look, has it been successful? And that's the thing. Now, your measure of success is whether Harry is happy. Harry and Meghan are happy. Right. Are they happy? They don't appear to be happy. Certainly there is no sort of cohesion or purpose in the various things that they're doing. They, of course, have their media interests. They have their charitable. They have their kind of pseudo-royal tours. They are kind of content creators in a sense. The Invictus Games, of course, is a success, but the rest of it, there is no kind of legacy project that we're starting to see from the Prince and Princess of Wales. And this, I think, is in part because they've been really unfortunate, is one word to use, at retaining staff. They have had a sequence of staff that they've moved through. Now, being royal and looking after the multiple pillars that they're trying to organise in their lives really does require someone of, real skills to be able to manage their lives, and they haven't found that person yet. It'll be interesting to see what happens this year because, of course, we have that another Netflix program with Meghan, and the word on the street is that if this one fails, they are out. That's a $100 million deal, and this is the Polo, of course, the last show that Harry produced just a few weeks, has been widely panned. So they have to get some things right rather than just ricochet between these various different projects.
Crunch time in 2025. And let's talk about one last member of the royal family. Now, we mentioned Kate pulling back a bit because of her health concerns. Let's not forget the King as well has had his own cancer diagnosis and his health scare. Named the second hardest working royal, which is really impressive.
This has just come out overnight and I cannot believe it. I would have thought he would have been 5th or 6th down the list. He still did 186 engagements to Princess Anne's 217. Now, she is the hardest working royal every year, but to have gone through treatment virtually all year and to still produce 186 engagements and be the second hardest working royal, I think is extraordinary. Camilla, of course, was also up there. The Edinburghs stepped up. William, of course, we saw go down, and Kate, of course, only those 11 appointments. But I think to continue doing that shows his work ethic, but also shows a man who's come to the job very late in life and wants to make it stand for something.
Well done, Charles.
Yeah. Good on you.
That sounded very regal.
And as always, they've given us some wonderful content this year, the Royals. And thank you.
Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you guys.